All right, let's see what is going on. Let's click play on here. Let's mute that.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, I think we are live. All right, what is happening, you guys? Garrett Fankhauser and Benjamin Olson with FFL Funnels.
Mute that.
Yeah.
Cool. Oh, hang on.
I think it was my screen this time.
Okay, yeah. I was like, man, I already muted mine. All right, sorry guys. So hey, what's up? This is the Facebook Live that we're doing, the series that we're doing on SEO, right? Today we're going to be talking about keyword research, which is like one of the most important aspects of SEO altogether. Being that like when you rank, you're ranking for actual keywords, right? Things that people are searching for. You want to show up in front of them when they search for these things so that you can then get the clicks, drive the traffic to the website. And then if you have a dope website set up that converts traffic into sales, then the overall goal is to obviously capture leads or get the sale right there, right? So either way, both are super important, and it just really depends on what your goals are and how you have that set up. So before we jump in, and I have Ben share his screen, and we start walking through this stuff. If you guys are watching this live, go ahead and type live in the comments. That way we can help bump this up in the algorithm, get this in front of more people. If you're watching this on the replay, go ahead and type replay in the comments. The other thing, guys, is if you do have, hi Brittany, if you guys do have comments, put them in the chat. Like any questions or anything like that as we go along, we can go ahead and try to answer those for you, right? We'll generally do a Q&A at the end of this, and if there's anything good, we can kind of walk through that with you guys, and hope you guys get some clarity. Thank you guys for tuning in live. I see a bunch of you guys in here. Awesome. Okay, so last thing is SEO is not easy. So if you guys are trying to learn this and do it, cool. That's what we're here for. If you guys need help doing this for your business and you would rather spend the time that you do have with your family or in your zone of genius, like actually doing the things that you know how to do, let us do this shit for you. That's what we're good at. That's why we're teaching you guys how to do this, right? So if you're interested, we work with WordPress sites. We build our own sites as well for you guys if you need them. And then we just recently released that we're starting to work with Core. Like, we're actually promoting that we're willing to work with Core for SEO stuff. Other than that, some of the other platforms, Amaretti, Gearfire, so far we have not seen what we are looking for in order for us to be able to work in those platforms to actually get you guys good results, right? So if you're using Core, that's something that we can work with. And if you guys actually need like a full system put together to help you get traffic and more sales, we can possibly help out with that as well. That's all I have to pitch you guys right now. We're going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to let Ben get to it. We are covering keyword research today.
Awesome.
Ben?
Yeah, thanks, Garrett. There we go. Just want to make sure my screen comes up. So yeah, today we're going to go ahead and cover the art of keyword research. Again, this is just going to be your bird's eye view of the most important concepts, items like that. We've already gone over just what SEO is, the tool sets that I use or we use, and technical audits. So I do want to be upfront, like this is pretty much the exact order in which I do SEO. So that's it. So today we'll go over the keyword research. I'll briefly introduce you to the concept of keyword research and highlight all the roles that it can play within SEO, discuss the value of keyword research, making sure that you understand the right types of keywords to go for, the user intent, and just making sure that your sites, you get a good foundation of the keywords you're trying to target to make sure that your website has the best chance to be seen. And then I'll quickly cover what we'll go over next week. So first things first, what is keyword research? This is basically the practice of identifying and studying specific words and phrases that people are actually using in search engines to find information. The central role for keyword research helps us guide our content strategy, helps us understand what the target audience language is, and their search habits as well. We can get a lot of really, really cool data depending on the tools that we use, but it will shape the entirety of a campaign for us, and picking the right keywords for your pages is incredibly important. Which leads me to why it's important. If you're choosing keywords that are way outside the scope of your budget, the ability to rank for, things like this, you're going to start off on the wrong foot. Definitely want to make sure that we're creating content based around those keywords that we're identifying. I'll get into the different types of keywords that we're going to be looking for in the next section, and also intent, but these things all tie together. But we definitely want to make sure that, you know, we're being realistic about the terms we're trying to search for. Optimal keyword use can significantly enhance visibility in search engine results. Google these days doesn't want to see like each keyword get its own page. We try to cluster keywords into topics and go about that way. And to be fair, if you're doing the keyword research correct, you're going to make sure that the users that get on your site have a great experience, ensure that the content that they land on is exactly what they're looking for with their search queries, and what they're expecting to find on the information on that page, because you want to make sure that you're answering the questions. So if this part gets screwed up, we're in trouble.
Ben, real quick, something that you kind of brought up there that I want to touch on, because this was something that took me a really long time to understand about SEO and how it actually works. And you know, now having a better understanding of it, it's so simple. This is something that we've probably covered, but I just want to touch on it again, right? So when somebody goes into a search engine, whether it's Google, Yahoo, Bing, whatever it is, right? They ask a question, right? That's what a query is, right? It might be phrased not necessarily in a question like format, but basically they're asking for information on something. So like if you guys are thinking of this in terms of like providing the best answer to the question that somebody asked in order to get to your page, then that's basically like what Google is looking for. They're looking for you to provide the best and most informational answer to like what somebody is searching for, right? So like hopefully that makes sense to you guys, because like it took me a while to understand the whole concept behind like how a search engine actually works. But like once you understand that, like the whole point of the content that you're creating is like to inform people and answer a question that they asked, like it becomes a little more clear on like what content you should actually write and how you should organize it.
Yeah, Google absolutely. I always go back to Google. I know there's a few other search engines out there, but Google's still the most popular one. They are very much, they're like their main focus is making sure that the results they're serving will answer that person's question. I don't know how many people have gone out and performed a search, and then you're going through all these different results, and they're like almost none of them are related to what you're looking for. Google wants to avoid that. So moving forward, onto the third part here, how to conduct basic keyword research. Honestly, the best tools that I use are usually my brain and just actual searches themselves. Competitors actually give me a very good idea of the keywords that I want to rank for. I always try to look at what Google rewards initially anyways, within the first top 3 results, because they're obviously doing something right. However, to help, there's a lot of different ways that you can, or a lot of different ways and different tools that you can use to find new keyword terms or keywords that you could potentially be targeting. One of the tools that I mentioned last week or the week before would be the Google Keyword Planner. Unfortunately, from what I've seen within this industry, Google is not very forthcoming with their information and on keywords and searches that involve firearms. So you almost have to go to a different type of tool. We definitely use Ahrefs internally. Ubersuggest is another good one that has a free option. And then I use also Keywords Everywhere sometimes, just to kind of get a good idea of any additional keywords I might be missing. I've just been at this so long, I can pretty much just look at a page. I don't necessarily have to use tools, but it's always good for me just to find the keyword terms that have search volume attached to it. But that's kind of where you start. All these tools, you can either input a page or just a simple term, and they'll return different keywords that you could potentially be targeting for your page. The one thing I want to point out about Google Keyword Planner is this is, excuse me, that tool is geared more towards Google Ads, which is probably one of the reasons why we're not getting many returns on firearms. It's very good for giving you additional keyword terms if you want, and if you're looking for a free solution. But the best thing I found with that is they have the most obviously accurate search volume results. Whenever we go in and we're looking at different keyword terms, there's a bunch of different types of keywords that I want to point out. And I have 5 different types here. One's going to be exact match. Next is going to be long tail keywords, then short tail keywords, LSI keywords, which are latent semantic indexing. I'll get into that in a minute. And then geo-targeting keywords. So a lot of our clients, they both want to target nationally and locally for their sites, for their products and their gun shops and services. So we typically do all 5 of these when we're looking for terms that we want to target for our pages. Just to give you an example, Armalite Rifle 15 would be an exact match term that you could potentially try and rank for. This is getting into more of the realm of a product itself, but I want to point out the differences here, because when you jump into what a long tail keyword is, searching for best AR-15 for home defense would be a longer tail keyword. These typically have more than 3 words within the keyword themselves, and they tend to have less search volume involved with them. A short tail keyword for Armalite Rifle 15, AR-15, or even AR. And then LSI terms. So this is kind of where we get into it's like NLP stuff, but it's terms that are like related to the overall topic. So rifles definitely fit into as an LSI term for our AR-15. We have gun safety, firearms, semi-automatic rifle, etc. There's also many other terms that'll fall underneath AR-15, but those are just some examples. And then a geo-targeting one would be AR-15 for sale in Texas, right? So if I was to target a page nationally, I would look for exact, long tail, short tail, and then make sure that the LSI keywords are included within the content. I would also potentially have a separate page for the geo-targeting. But I just wanted to kind of point out the differences between those keywords. Making sure you're picking relevant terms to target for your pages and to go after and rank for is important. Where LSI keywords come into play, rifles itself could be an exact match keyword. In order to rank for rifles, you're going to want to have content that includes AR-15s, semi-automatics, potentially content on the site that includes gun safety and other firearms too. Google looks at the site as a whole and wants to make sure that anytime you're trying to rank for something, you have topical relevance, which is another term which we'll get into further down the line here. But this is how you build it. So the other thing here is to look at the competitive or how competitive the landscape is. Trying to rank for Armalite 15, unless you're actually Armalite, it's going to be next to impossible. Potentially for AR-15, although I definitely see products themselves or stores. I know we talk about Palmetto a lot, but they're definitely one that pops up for AR-15 too. So you have to make sure you're picking the right keywords and know your competitors. It's kind of like if you're trying to, that's why we do encourage a lot of our clients to go after the geo-targeting. It's a lot easier. You tend to see quicker results, things like this. So.
Yo, you guys, so I want to jump in. This is something that I would recommend writing these down or screenshotting the screen on this one. Because what I see more often than not is everybody is generally focused on like exact match keywords and then maybe a couple geo-targeted keywords here and there, right? Most people that I see are not actually using like the LSI keywords properly. And then long tail keywords as well, right? The only time that I see people actually using long tail keywords properly on a regular basis is in like blog posts and stuff like that, right? Where it's like, hey, what is the best AR-15 for home defense? So learn these terms and make sure that you understand how they're used properly in your content, whether it's a blog post, whether it's a location page, whether it's the home page, or whether it's like the actual individual product pages that you guys have. And make sure that you have cast a wide net in your targeting so that you're hitting all of these keywords and that they're all matched properly, right? And the best way to understand how to do that, one, is to understand how to these terms in general, but two is to actually do the keyword research that we're talking about so that you understand like how those terms actually connect with each other in a way that is able to be understood by like crawlers and things like that, search engines in general, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I was just looking to see if we had competitive analysis in here as something we would cover. I think that might be actually a pretty good topic to do one of these lives on. But if you know you're going to be targeting a product, go search like you're trying to find that product and then just see what comes up. And the other thing is go to that first result that you get and start looking around at their website. I can almost guarantee in every instance, you're going to find a site that has a lot of information on other topics that are going to be related to that product themselves. So this leads me to part 4, where and when to use keywords. There's plenty of places that you can use them throughout the page, which is something I'm going to get into next week, because you want to make sure you insert your keywords in the title tags, the meta description, your headers, content, and URLs. However, there's an art to it. So again, that'll be something we cover next week. But keywords, like I can't remember the exact number, but there's probably millions and millions of keyword search queries that Google sees every day that they'd never seen before. So trying to make sure that the page you're targeting for a keyword has as much topical relevance about that keyword itself will help, because we don't know what somebody could be potentially searching for next week in regards to this. So it can change. But the other thing I want to point out that is once you pick your target keywords, you have to understand what the user intent is behind that search term, right? And how to cater to each keyword, or how to cater your page to each keyword to appropriately answer that query itself. So there's 4 big different types of intents that we see users going to Google or any search engine and what they're looking for. Number 1 is informational. Number 2 is navigational. Number 3 is commercial. And number 4 is transactional. What I tend to see is a lot of people go after the transactional type of keywords and potentially the navigational ones and ignore the informational and commercial. So informational keywords are going to be your how-to guides, right? They're going to be your ways to guides or tips or guides, right? Like you could literally, like if you're trying to target AR-15 and then you're going to go as far as to target a term like best home defense or AR-15 for home defense, you might want to have an overall guide on best firearms for home defense and then talk about each one of those individually, and then have its own page for best AR-15, best shotgun, best rifle, and so on and so forth. But those are not, if somebody's looking for those terms, they just want to know. They're probably not ready to buy. And what they're doing is they're just trying to get more information to help them make a purchase down the line. So this is one way that you can build up trust within a user, is making sure that you can also answer other search queries around the keyword terms that we're trying to rank for. Navigational searches. So if somebody's looking for okay, so the easiest way to put this, if you go to Google and search for Coca-Cola, and then you go to Coca-Cola's website, that is a navigational search. If you're going to look for FFL Funnels and you go to Google and search for that, and then you go to our website, that's a navigational search. It's typically brand names, product names, service names. Some people even just put it on the website. I've seen that before. Where they'll go to Google. I've seen people Google google.com. But that's a navigational search. Commercial intent, reviews, comparisons, best. So commercial and informational can kind of overlap. But commercial, you're going to be reviewing. If you want to review AR-15s, you probably want to review them. Comparisons, best, top. Those are just some of the examples of the terms that are going to answer a commercial intent query. Then the last one's going to be your transactional ones. That's people who buy AR-15, AR-15, near me. Discount on an AR-15 in Wisconsin, AR-15 coupons, or order this, order, your ammunition or whatever. So those are the keywords that you're towards the bottom. When people are making these types of searches, they want to buy. So ideally what you want your website to do, answer informational queries, answer commercial inquiries, and then also do transactional queries as well. And then funnel them all towards your main topic for your keyword. I think the vast majority of us are looking to rank for gun stores or gun shops or something along those lines. I know we have clients that specialize in certain types of accessories, things like that. So if you're an optics person, make sure your site answers as many questions around optics and their uses. They can be how to clean them, how to properly set your sites, your scopes, etc. And then funnel those blogs and that traffic to your actual product pages. So that's the where and when to use. Typically these two here are going to be your blog posts, your navigation stuff that's typically going to be for your home page, and then transactional are going to be all your categories and products. So that's it. Just again, really brief overview. This stuff I could go on for probably days talking about just keyword research itself. It's just so important. Anywhere I've ever worked, like when we have a target page, we have got to get the keyword research right. And if we identify the wrong main keywords for a page, that means by the time we're ready to go live with our suggested changes and we catch it in a quality session, we have to go back and redo all the work. So that's why this is so important. It will completely guide your entire strategy. So.
Cool. Awesome, Ben. Thank you for walking us through all of that, dude. I actually even learned some stuff. So it's always cool going through these with you, man. If you guys have any questions, I know there's a couple of you guys watching live. Now would be a great time to ask. We're going to give about a minute or two. I'm just going to sit here and ramble until then.
Yeah. Well, I'll add this. So I'm just going to, I've been running with the AR-15 theme. Next week, when we do the on-page stuff, I'm going to show you how I would set up all the on-page to rank for AR-15. So I think I'll get a little bit more granular and actually show more work next week. But
cool. Yeah, that'll be exciting. I know we've covered a lot of the kind of overviews and stuff like that. So actually getting into an account and doing some of the work, I think will be really cool for people to see.
Yeah. Well, I don't necessarily, I probably won't. I'm just going to load up, show you how I look at the competition, the keywords that I would tend to pick, and then I might even use Gunner to build us content.
Cool. Yeah, that works, man. Awesome. Well, I don't see any questions, guys. So if you do have questions, drop them in this after the fact, like if you catch this on the replay, or if you guys are watching this on YouTube, because these go on YouTube as well, drop your question in the comments, man. We'll get back to you and we'll help answer those. Or if it's a really dope question, we'll probably want to create some content around it for another video. So any questions or any other types of suggestions as far as like what you guys would like to see for content that would be really helpful for you in your particular situation, drop them in here, guys. Other than that, I appreciate y'all for tuning in. Ben, as always, appreciate you for showing up and walking us peasants through how to kind of learn and do all this type of stuff. Anything else that you have for us, Ben?
No.
What are we doing next week?
On-page SEO.
Okay, cool.
So that's just URLs, titles, headings, how to get the content, looking at competition. Again, almost every single step of the way from here on out, I'm going to look at what's ranking for the terms that we want to target. And I'm going to absolutely use what I think Google likes and just try and do it better. So
cool. Awesome. Dude, appreciate you. Everybody that's watching, appreciate you guys. If you need help with your setup and you don't want to do this yourself, shoot me a DM. Let's chat. Let me see, we'll walk through kind of what you guys have going on. If we need to, we'll have Ben do like a quick and dirty audit of your setup, and we can kind of put together some strategies and some suggestions around what you have, and kind of show you the gap of like, hey, you're here, your competitors over here. Here's the work that needs to be done in order to close that gap so that you can then rank for those keywords, potentially beat your competitors and things like that as far as showing up for those keywords. The goal again is more traffic, more leads, more sales, right? That's what it all comes back to. Cool. Appreciate you guys. I'll catch you next week. I don't know if we're going to do Wednesday or Friday or whatever, so just tune in. We're kind of doing this whenever we have some spare time, which is few and far between. So, all right, catch you guys later. Peace.
See ya.